Welcome back to The Villains, and on today's episode we are going to be analysing all of the goals that PSG have conceded in the Champions League. There are 10, and we are going to go through all 10 and we're going to take a look at how they're conceding goals. Are there any areas within their game that they are weak at? Which areas will Aston Villa be able to exploit? And your job as well at home, can you see the patterns and the areas and the weakness of this PSG side? So if you're new, subscribe to the channel, get on the journey with us, brand new channel, smash the like button and get involved. Goal number 1 is the first goal that they conceded against Arsenal. We can see that the ball is on the far left-hand side. We've got a runner on the left-hand side in Martinelli. We've got the PSG back four. We've got one holding player. And we've got 4 PSG players who are scrambling to try and get back in this. We've got Havertz. Note Havertz's position. So Trossard does really well because he could use the winger on the left-hand side. That winger's kind of doing a really good role in the sense of he's occupying a fullback. He's making sure that fullback knows that he's there. So Trossard does really well, gets the ball, cuts inside and plays this wonderful cross into Havertz. Havertz times his run really well, but he's always been there. He's able to get on the back of the PSG defender. He's able to get inside of the 2 PSG players, between both of those, and he's able to now get in front and be brave and get his head in there. It's a little deft header that beats Donnarumma. Now, the big thing for me in this goal is that there's been a lot of time in between the cross and the header that goes in. This shows me that there is a lack of aggression on the ball player and there's a lack of awareness on Havertz when he's able to get into that position, peel off, no midfielders sensing danger, no midfielders getting back. And what I'm going to do, on all 10 of these goals, I'm going to highlight one major talking point. The major talking point on this one is Havertz. Because look at the distance that Havertz has travelled before he gets his head on this ball. The other interesting thing that I think is a little bit poor on Donnarumma's side is that when you look at where that cross has landed, pretty much 6-yard box area. Once Trossard crosses that ball, why is Donnarumma not moving out a little bit and coming and collecting that ball? It's a wonderful cross, but I think Donnarumma should probably deal with this because the ball has landed at the 6-yard box. So the run from Havertz is brilliant. The awareness to get into that central area is great, but pressure on the ball, back four being a bit vulnerable. Not a great goal to concede. Not a great goal to concede. And I feel like Donnarumma should probably do a little bit better in this situation. So we've got goal number 2 from Arsenal. And it's a set-piece goal. Now, every man and his dog knows about this Arsenal set-piece. Even before the season started, we know that Arsenal pack the back post, run across that front post. Gabriel is normally the guy that's in there that's free. You have to block off these runners. So we've got a set piece with Saka on the closest right-hand side to us. And we know what's going to happen. The ball's going to go in a dangerous area. We're going to get Arsenal runners running across, running in front of the PSG players, looking to try and get on the end of it. And what happens within this set piece is exactly what we expect to happen. The Arsenal players come forward. It's a low cross from Saka. We've got runners coming across the PSG players. And the ball ends up going to Partey, and Partey sticks the ball in. We've got Donnarumma a little bit flat-footed. Image of note is I think Saka and I think Arsenal know that Donnarumma leaves a little bit more space at his front post. And Saka's whipped that ball in low. Arsenal players have come across, and it's a great ball in. It's a really good finish. But also note the PSG players on the back post. There's still a lot of them in that area that have not followed the Arsenal players. So, for me, there's a little bit of a tactical liability from set pieces with this PSG team. I don't think they're that great on set pieces. I think they're very slow to react. And I think Austin McPhee can get very, very creative with this, because this is an area that I would be really targeting against this PSG side. Not great at adapting, not great at switching on, not great at tracking runners. And this was a really well-worked goal for Arsenal. But that back post would be a worry for me if I was a PSG fan, in the understanding of not going with any of those players. You can actually see that within this goal, in front of Partey, there's actually two Arsenal players. So two Arsenal players have got to run across a PSG player, and it's a really well-worked goal from Arsenal. But McPhee, be aware and be prepared and be ready, because you can get at this PSG side through set pieces. Goal number three is coming from PSV v PSG. And what we've got here now is we've got PSG with build-up. They are building from the back. And it's Vitinha with the ball, who's driving forward and plays a forward pass. And we can see that already there is a PSV player that is aggressive. PSG player, flat-footed, not ready, not prepared, but the hunger of the PSV player to get in front and nick that ball back, and that's what they do. Once that ball has been won, we then start playing, we start driving, we start being direct, and you can see that already now the PSG team has been turned over, and that back three is now being exploited. Bodies forward, committing players forward, driving forward, and really trying to make the most of a 3v3, and we do make the most of it. We're driving forward, we're cutting inside, we get our shot off. Not much pressure on the ball. PSG not being aggressive. Runners not tracking back to be aggressive. Shot goes in, hits the post, goes in. Donnarumma flat-footed. Now, just like the Arsenal goal, I actually feel like Donnarumma should do a lot better here, because the distance between when that ball was won to where PSV have drove forward and took that shot, he has got time to get his body shape prepared, ready, and get set. As a keeper, the most important thing is about getting set, getting ready to be prepared, on your toes, bounce in, get ready to dive. The fact that he's flat-footed and doesn't dive for this and doesn't move, just like flat-footed, not being ready for that cross coming in, I don't think it's great. And I think shooting from distance, getting those shots off quickly, don't allow Donnarumma to get set in that situation. But the image of note here is the fact that the ball was won high up the pitch, being aggressive, and then once the midfield of PSG has been turned over, there's a lot of space to be able to exploit. And we've got those players that can carry the ball and can exploit. So again, on transit, it's not a great goal for PSG to concede here. There's a lot wrong with this midfield, gaps, flat-footed, keeper not set, keeper not diving, 3v3. So again, another goal where if you're Aston Villa, you're thinking win that ball, be tenacious, quickly break, turn on the opposition, drive forward. So again, this would give Emery a lot of traps to be able to work with. Goal number 4, Atletico Madrid. Goal number 3 and goal number 4, very, very similar. Throw-in to PSG, loose touch from a PSG player, has then enabled a tackle to go in from an Atletico player. The ball then has been won, being aggressive. Midfield 3 of Atletico, very well set, organisation structurally there. And then we've played this nice little pass into De Paul. Long-standing viewers of my content will know I like De Paul. And then once that ball goes into De Paul, he takes that touch, gets it out his feet, he's able to drive forward. How easy? Throw into PSG, win the ball, win the tackle, get set, turn over, be able to drive. Being able to drive now against this back 4 of PSG, De Paul's got an option. Can I shoot? But I've also got that little option on my right-hand side to be able to slip this player in if I need to as well. We go forward, we slip the player in, we take the shot, and it's a good save from the keeper. Now, keeper makes the save, but what happens? Slow to react a little bit. The ball comes, clearance, not cleared, move still alive for Atletico. The ball goes out, we then retrieve the ball, we play a nice little pass, we keep them locked in, we play a nice little inside pass into the 18-yard box, lovely little flick, cross goes in, deflected cross, falls at an Atletico player, and then we're able to get a wonderful strike, great finish, aggressive. But within this move, pressure and intensity. Once you win that ball, drive at them, and mistakes will happen inside the 18-yard box. Reaction not great, clearance not great, intensity there, slow to react, and a really well-worked goal from Atletico. But the image to note is when De Paul's on the ball, you can isolate this back 4. You've got runners out wide, you've got options, you've got different decisions that you can make. Make the correct decision, score the goal. Atletico Madrid, goal number 5. Pushing 90 plus 2.26 minutes on the clock. And keeper comes out, grabs the ball, drops it. He's able to keep the ball, picks it up, and launches a throw to Griezmann. Ball goes to Griezmann, and we've got a 1v1 at this situation. But Griezmann, I can't tell you enough how good Griezmann does in this moment. Because he could rush it. He could think we've got 29 seconds on the clock. Let's rush it, fire it forward. But he waits patiently. He bides his time and he waits for the Atletico players to get forward. And we can see already that there's a player that's about to be on that far side that just continues his run. But nobody tracks the run. And Griezmann waits and waits and waits. Plays this beautiful crossfield ball that goes to the Atletico player. He takes his touch. Now, we've got an option now on the opposite side. We've got 3v2. So we could play that pass, but we decide to cut inside and take his shot on. And again, Donnarumma, the distance between the throw from the keeper to get set, to be ready, to be prepared, flaps it, ends up going in the back of the net. He gets his hand to it. You can see that he gets his hand to this. And again, I don't think the keeper does great, guys. I really don't. You know, and it's all about just getting set, and he doesn't get set. He doesn't get his hand on it. But it's a brilliant goal. Image of note, you can see that I've put a little bit of a shaded area where PSG players aren't really busting a gut to get back. We're not making sure that we're tracking this runner on the far side, the goal scorer. We can see that the one player takes that run inside, which makes space for the player on the far side who ends up scoring this goal. But it's a really well-worked goal. It's got patience, it's got quality, and it's a great strike, but the keeper probably, for me, should do better, get down low and do a lot better. But this is goal number 5. Goal number 6, Bayern Munich, set piece. And this is absolutely shocking. Shocking defending from this set piece. Note we've got a change of keeper, so it's not Donnarumma. And the ball goes in. So the ball goes in from Kimmich, and it is Kim Min-jae who gets the goal. So ball goes in, flapped it from the keeper, he's under pressure, and image to note is Kim Min-jae in the yellow circle, unmarked. I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, centre back, unmarked, running in, driving forward at full force. Keeper fumbles it, falls to Kim Min-jae, heads it in, goal. So that's goal number 6. Not really much to analyse about that, but it's just, again, another set piece. Can you put keepers under pressure? Can you drag players out of position? Can you isolate one of your own players? So for me, McPhee, all over these set pieces. But again, just like the first one that we've conceded, very slow to react. Kim Min-jae, free. No one reacts to that second ball in that box. So for me, if I'm Villa and I'm Austin McPhee, I'm really getting creative with my set pieces here, because I think I would be able to get one over on this PSG team. And we are very good at scoring from set pieces, and fine margins in football. Can you nick a goal from a set piece? Can you score that goal? Could give you the edge. Could be the edge in this whole tie. So set pieces, I'm keeping my eye on it. Goal number 7 is coming from PSG and Man City. So we can see that the ball is on the far right-hand side. And as we move this clip on slightly, we notice number 10, Jack Grealish, pops up. And what we can see is Marquinhos has got his hand up and he's pointing. Make sure you're tracking Grealish. Make sure you go into Grealish. And we can see that Hakimi has a little look. He has a little look and he knows that Grealish is there. And as we move this on, Akanji is able to drive forward and get into the 18-yard box. And he gets his cross off and it falls to Bernardo, who gets his shot off. Now, keeper makes a really good save and it ends up falling to Jack Grealish, who's in space, who's free, who's able to just smack it into the back of the net. But the big thing, the image to note here, is that we've got a 2v2 in the middle. And both centre-backs are fully aware of Bernardo and Haaland. Hakimi, Grealish, mark him, make sure you know he's there, follow him, track the run. But as that move carries on and unfolds, it's Grealish who's then able to drift and find that little bit of space and is able to finish. So again, organisation, but again, also what you can note, where's the PSG midfield? We've got 4 Manchester City players, well, 5, and you've got 5 of PSG. But where's the cover? Where's the protection? Where's someone just getting in there and being that extra player? And it doesn't happen. So Grealish, back post runners. Let's go. Here we have goal number 8 for Manchester City, who score this goal to go 2-0 up in this game. And as you can see from the first shot, there's a lot of space in central midfield. So we've got Nunes, who's able to drive forward, and the further he goes, what he's doing is he's coming forward, he's coming inside, and he's making sure that there's options for him to take. So as he drives forward, we can see that Grealish is on that left-hand side again, and we can see that he's in space. Ball goes in to Jack Grealish. Great pass from Núñez, great drive, and Grealish is the one that's now got an option to... Can he put that ball in first time? Haaland's there. Haaland's peeling off his man. But what Grealish does is he waits and waits and waits. Waits for that right moment, stands his man up, and he plays this nice little pass that gets deflected and ends up falling to Haaland once it's been deflected. But again, once that ball gets deflected, it's Haaland who's there. It's a Man City player. So as we can see from the image to note, we've got the dishevelled PSG defence. It's not level. It's not right. We've got a fullback who doesn't know whether to stay or go. We've got the midfield two of PSG who have been bypassed. We're now driving forward. We've got that option. So can Villa get in behind that PSG midfield? We can see already that there are vulnerabilities to this PSG team, and there are now starting to be little patterns that I think we're all starting to think are happening within this PSG side when they are defending. Goal number 9, Stuttgart. 4-0 down, but are still committing players forward. So we can see that the ball is on this left-hand side. We are driving forward. But notice that we have got 5 Stuttgart players that are trying to get on the end of this against the 4 of the PSG defence. Midfield, again, we've got players that are now past that midfield. And the ball goes in the box. And it is the Stuttgart player that gets in front of the PSG defender. Again, another player getting on the front foot of a PSG defender. We're able to get that little flick to that far post. And it's a deft touch. You know, it's a really good finish. He's took it away from the keeper. I think this is a real good finish. But major image to note are the amount of players that are trying to get in front of those PSG players. Be aggressive, get in front of your man, and once that ball goes in, can you get on the end of it? So again, another image where we've got PSG players that are being exploited, no protection, driving forward. Good goal from Stuttgart. I'm sure we'll all remember goal number 10, smash and grab FC from this one. And the ball goes in from Alisson and it ends up being on the head of Núñez, who causes a little bit of chaos. It's just a chaotic phase of play. And he's able to keep the ball, retain the ball. But again, where's the PSG midfield? We've got 4 players that are very central for PSG, and not one of them decides to go outside and track a run of Harvey Elliott. And it's a great finish. It's a good finish because it's first time he's opened his body up. He's hit it first time in a high sort of it's just a real intense moment. Like, you've got to make sure you keep it on target, make the keeper work. You know, I don't think really from here, like, it's an easy chance to score. But what I will say is, Donnarumma again, he flaps it. He absolutely flaps it. And again, he's had time to get set because he knows that Elliott is going to take that strike on. And I think the big thing about Emi Martinez is that he's able to read the body shape of players. And I always feel like whenever I think of a Harvey Elliott strike, he drops his shoulder and he curves it away from the keeper. So if you've done your sort of like due diligence on Harvey Elliott, you know the type of strike that he's going to get off. And I think this strike here, it's quite easy to read as a keeper, and he doesn't read it. He doesn't get set. He gets down low. He fumbles it. I think it's a good goal from Elliott, but keeper-wise from Donnarumma, I think he should deal with it a lot better, really, because you can see from the image of note that if you take a look at Donnarumma, he's sort of getting set, he's getting ready, he's quite central. And the fact that I feel like he's quite central and it goes through him a little bit, you can see that there's the 4 players and Elliott's free. Nobody's tracking him, nobody's on him, nobody's aware that he's there. Just not a great goal to concede, really. So, guys, I think my main conclusion from this is that going forward, PSG are very, very good, but they are vulnerable. You look at the goals that are conceded here. What are the patterns that I can spot from the 10 goals that have been conceded? Getting in behind that midfield. Making sure you can get players and exploit and get in space that's inside of that PSG 3 or 2 or 1 and really get a 3-on-4 or a 3-on-3 and ask questions. I also feel like within a defensive action for PSG, if you ask a question, so if you run off your player, if you arrive late in the box, I don't think they're going to track your run. I don't think they're going to be aware of you being there. So that's something. Can you get a run on a centre-back? Can you peel off? Can you get in front? Imagine those little clutch goals that Watkins scores with his head, where he sometimes just arrives from nowhere but gets in front of his player and gets a head on it and scores a goal. Those type of goals I can see going in against PSG. So that's an area that I think that can be exploited on. Set pieces, slow to react. Are they tracking the runners? Generally, no, they're not. Ask big questions, get creative. We've seen all of those creative set pieces that we have under Austin McPhee. Ask those questions there, be creative, do something different. Will they be able to read it? No. But once you've done your first phase, make sure we are aware on that second phase as well, because I don't think that they will be ready and comfortable to be able to defend. Next one is Donnarumma. Like, some might say I've hammered him in this episode, but I really see a vulnerability in him at times. So make sure shots are clean. If Jacob Ramsey's bursting through, find the corner, hit the corners. Because I don't think sometimes when he's actually got to get set, I think he's a bit slow to get down. So hit your corners, hit it with pace, and you'll be able to score goals. I really believe that you'll be able to score goals and set your little traps in midfield. You can't underestimate the value and the importance of being able to attack from a throw-in and defend from a throw-in. Once that ball goes into a PSG player and goes into his feet, boom, press him, get on the ball, be aggressive, win the ball, transition, move the ball out wide quickly and go and exploit an attack. Do I feel like PSG are going to underestimate Aston Villa? Yes, I do. I feel like they will underestimate. I don't feel like they will go into it thinking, oh, like, it's Villa, like, we can just turn up and we'll... They won't do that because it's a quarter-final of a Champions League. I think they will underestimate our actual quality and game state intensity. And I think, for me, what we've got to be able to do is run them out of their options and run them out of their ideas. And that will come from our intensity and winning our individual battles, winning our individual duels. That is key. That is a first first objective that we have to do. And when you start doing that, you start building, you start growing. Because they are great going forward. They are very, very dangerous. They are very good. They are great in central midfield. But pose questions. And have they got the answers? They've conceded 10 goals so far in the Champions League. You can score against them. So, what I've shown are areas that we are very, very good at. Playing through them centrally, being aggressive, finding space, driving. And the big thing for Aston Villa is we've got ball carriers. We've got people and players who can carry the ball. And in the modern game, we are very, very good at it. And having that ability to carry the ball is going to be something that I think in football in years to come becomes more and more. Dribblers, ball carriers. So those are the 10 goals. Those are the patterns that I've spotted. Let me know how you're feeling. Are there any areas that you've spotted particularly? Where do you think is the major PSG weakness within this team? Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. If you have and got this far, subscribe, smash the likes, comment your thoughts. Up the Villa and up the villains.